Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the official podcast of Profc. And this evening, we're going to be discussing Profc 12 that's happening on Saturday, June 15, here in Orange Walk Town. With me tonight, my first guest I have is Professor Chris Bonfogo, all the way from Spanish Lookout. I haven't seen Professor since March from the last Profc, so I'm very excited to see him, even though it's through Zoom. Good evening, Professor. How are you doing?
Oh, great, Silvino. Great to see you too. I'm looking forward to the show just as much as you are. We had a great show, the last one, and this one's going to be explosive as well.
That's right. And we have a night filled of exciting MMA action. We have 9 MMA fights and we have 3 no-gi jiu-jitsu super fights. So it's going to be 12 matches total. And, I'm looking forward to some of those matches. Any particular match you're looking forward to, Professor, from the list I sent you?
It's nice. I'm looking forward to a bunch. It's nice to see Mac back in action. Mac's always lightning in a bottle, right? Mac can end a fight, in a flash. He's got those explosive hands. I really like Ismar Vasquez. Him and Duran, those back-to-back fights they had, incredibly exciting, high energy, always brings it. It's going to be nice to see Jan back in action. It was too bad his fight dropped last time. And Jalen Perez, Jalen is he's an ambassador of Belize MMA at this point, and it's going to be an exciting night.
Definitely, I totally agree. And we have actually a couple guest fighters tonight on our podcast. We're going to be speaking to them individually. First with us, we have Jan Gab from Don't Blink Jiu-Jitsu Academy. Jan is one of the up-and-coming 145-pound featherweights, a very exciting fighter. He has a large following, so I'm happy to have him here in Orange Walk for the next event because he usually pulls a big crowd and he has those guys that are behind him 100%. And Jan always comes to fight, win or lose, so Jan's going to give it his 110%. So now Jan has been training hard and I'm happy to see him. Jan, how are you doing this evening?
Hello, Mr. Silvino. Well, I appreciate you having me on this podcast, and I can't wait for Profc 12. It's going to be a good night. I'm training hard, and I can't wait to show what I've learned and what I've improved on.
Great. Also, we want to highlight that this Profc, we're going to have a professional fight. We haven't had a professional fight in quite a while, so I'm excited that Frank Mac Vasquez is back representing Belize. He's actually the only currently active pro MMA fighter who's undefeated with 2 wins, with 2 knockouts. So he's going to be here in Orange Rock showing his skills, giving you guys a fight. He's fighting the experienced Ari Aguilar from Mexico, from Merida, Yucatan. So it's going to be a very exciting fight. Professor, what do you think about the professional fight that's coming up?
Yeah, well, I was looking up Aguilar. I had a hard time finding information on him on Tapology. You give me some intel in there because I always thought that he was 2-0 as an amateur. And I'm like, a 2-0 amateur going up against Mac as his pro debut, that's going to be a little bit to handle. But I know he has more because I know the Mexican Federation operates a little bit differently. So, as far as Aguilar, if he's going to want to put up a big fight against Mac, he's going to have to be ready to have those guards up, ready to last, to survive those flurries from Mac as well. I know firsthand Mac's ground game has improved considerably, and he's not the like he was when he was an amateur, and if it got to the ground, he'd be in trouble. Mac's become a more rounded fighter as he's moved into the pro ranks, so I think Aguilar is going to have his hands full with Mac, and he's going to have to keep those guards up and keep that fight tight early on if he expects it to go past 1 round.
Yeah, Ari Aguilar has actually 2 pro fights, but it's only under Sherdog. For some reason, it's not listed under Topology. He's 1-1 as a professional. So he does have a couple of fights experience as a pro. He's coming off a loss in his last fight, so he told me he has been training hard for the past year. He wants to prove everyone wrong because he's the big underdog in this fight, and he's coming for a fight, he says. So I'm excited to see that fight. And Jan, how have you been training for your fight? Because you have a very high task ahead of you. You have David Blanco, who's coming off an impressive win over Elvis Castellano by some mean ground and pound. So you're going to have a very high-level fight yourself. So how's your training been going?
Well, much respect to Blanco. He's a very tough opponent. Way more experience than me in terms of the MMA. But nevertheless, like I said before, I've been training hard. I know what I can do. It's never been a skill issue for me. It's just been more of a mental, and I feel mentally strong as well. And, David Blanco has had a good streak when he's fought Belizean competitors, but the people who have fought him have never tested his grappling. They've been scared of his grappling, but I'm not scared of his grappling. I know what I can do. I know what he can do. I've prepared well, and I'm going to test him in that area as well. And we'll see who has better grappling.
I agree. This fight is definitely going to be a fight of attrition and who has the heart of a lion, because both of you guys come to fight, so it's going to be an exciting fight, right, Professor? What do you say?
Oh, this to me, I forgot to mention this in the intro. To me, this is the best matchup on the card. I like both these guys. Blanco brings a lot of energy. He's skilled in wrestling. He's not afraid of anything. You know, he walks right into the fire. He gets hit. He trades right back. You know, we've seen him, like his last fight was pure domination, and he was very professional about it. There was a lot of bad energy going between those two guys going into it, but Blanco kind of ignored it and just got down to business. And you know, he's high energy. He's well trained. Jan on the other side too. I know firsthand Jan is well trained. Jan is a very analytical style fighter. He sees things. He's got good fighter vision. So, you know, what we see here is, you know, you're going to have Blanco, you know, he's going to look to set the pace. And, you know, Jan is going to be probably, you know, he's probably going to be looking to counter that and disrupt the pace of Blanco. And as far as skill goes, you got a couple of blue belts going in there, and young guys, strong guys, both guys with good heart, and both guys from good camps. So this is the best matchup on the show.
I do remember seeing your comment when that fight was posted, and yeah, I remember you saying you actually were excited about that particular matchup. So maybe we're looking at fight of the night. We never know, right? And Jan, what do you want to tell your fans, since you can invite them for the event? What do you want to tell them before we let you go?
Well, like I say, guys, it's gonna be in Sugar City, June 15th. Profc 12. All my fans, I just want to tell you guys, please come out, please support me, but not only support me, support my team, support Team Ascension. You don't only have Don't Blink Jiu-Jitsu Academy. You also have Prevail Combat Club. You know, Prevail Combat Club and Don't Blink. They're Team Ascension all in one. So both clubs are gonna be out there. So any support is greatly appreciated. And, you know, I just want to thank my sponsors, Hillview Train Station, Placaso Inc. Tattoo Studios, and Ethos Vest. It's going to be a good night of action, guys. I promise you, I'm going to go out there and go out fighting.
All right. Thank you very much, Jan. And we appreciate Jan joining us in the podcast this evening. So we look forward to seeing you, Jan, on Saturday, June 15th for Profc 12 in Multipurpose Complex in Orange Rock, Sugar City. All right, Professor, I want to go over some of the fights just to tell the crowd, everyone watching, that we have 12 matches. The first match we have is a no-gi jiu-jitsu match between Dominic Bianino from Prevail Combat Club versus Wayne Garfield from Orange Rock. These are both young guys. Dominic is 16 years old and Wayne is 17 years old, both white belts, but both with experience. Dominic actually is coming off a win at the 501 Fight Night. He submitted a blue belt. So obviously he has good jiu-jitsu, and Wayne is also coming off a win over Kadeem Reyes from Prevail Combat Club in his last no-gi outing. So it's going to be an exciting match. We also have Ben Marshall Chubb from the Belize Dark Arts, a very experienced grappler, going against Roque Booriana, another experienced no-gi grappler. So it's going to be another high-level no-gi matchup. And for the final no-gi match, we have Joshua Blanco from the Dark Water Jiu-Jitsu. He's a very, very high-level grappler going against Thomas Godfrey, a purple belt in no-gi, who's also a very experienced grappler who has also won the no-gi intermediate division and the expert division. So it's going to be a very high-level match. And what do you think about those three no-gi jiu-jitsu matches, Professor?
Well, first, I like all six of these guys. You know, these guys are they're at the right level where they're supposed to be. You know, you see that first match, Dominic and Godfrey. You know, I know Biano. You know, I know him firsthand. He is very skilled. He's been training for quite some time, and you know, it's kind of the way it is in Belize. Prior to some black belts coming up here like myself, a lot of guys, they were just training, getting what they could in. And these two guys are a good example of that. And they both hooked onto a couple of really good clubs. And, you know, you're going to see, I could see this one going into overtime with the Eddie Bravo rules. But I can see that match, Godfrey spending a lot of time off of his back looking for submissions while Biano is on top. And Biano is a long guy too, so you would expect him to be on the ground on his back a lot. But the Prevail guys, they really like to be on top, right? So it's going to be an exciting matchup. The Ben Chubb and who's Ben's opponent again? Rocky, of course. Yeah, I can see there. Those dark arts guys, they're slick. They like to be creative. They like to set up traps. They're not as they don't force the game as much, and it works very well for them. So this one's going to be down to whether Rocky can smear Ben or Ben can set the traps and Rocky to fall into them. And then we were looking at Thomas and Josh. I really like both these guys. I've got I've got a relationship with both these guys. Thomas is he's a slick guy. He's good on top and on the bottom. He's kind of a hybrid of an aggressive grappler and he likes to set the traps. And Josh, similar to Ben, Josh likes to set the traps. He likes to. The fun thing about watching Josh grapple is he likes to play. And I'm that kind of grappler. I like to play when I grapple. Like I like to dominate position, but playing is fun. And the problem, my thing is I don't like to play when I'm in competition. But Josh does, and it does work for him, right? So that'll be a really, really fun match. Thomas has a size advantage, but the way Josh grapples, he negates it a lot. He has a good style for the absolute division in BJJ.
That's right. And before I forget, Professor, you can shout out your upcoming event this weekend, the Belize Jiu-Jitsu Grappling Tournament. So where are you having it? What time? So if anyone's around San Ignacio, they can go to witness a nice event.
Yeah, so we're having it at the Victor Galvez Stadium in San Ignacio on the top of the hill. It's where the last Profc show was. It's the Belize Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Championships. We run IBJJF rules. And yeah, we're looking like we've got pretty good registration coming up for this. The tournament starts at 9 a.m. on Saturday. It will be running until 2-3 p.m. One of these years we're going to be able to run it for 2 days, right? So that's the hope with BJJ as it grows. Belize has a population over 300,000, and where I'm from in Canada, the area where I'm from was around the same, like the Niagara region. And, there was several clubs and hundreds of competitors that would come out. Obviously, we withdrew from Toronto as well, but Niagara itself could sustain. And Belize has that ability. And when people catch wind that Belize runs good professional events, and we're hoping to bring in the Guatemalans and the Mexicans one of these days. So, we got some nice medals coming in, and we're looking forward to a nice, smooth, international style event that, if the competitors here, they decide to compete in an IBJJF event, it won't be as big of a transition as far as the way it's run goes, right? They'll be more mentally prepared and used to the rules.
That's right. And so Saturday, 9 a.m., don't forget, San Ignacio. All right, I want to go over some of the prelims for the MMA part of the Profc this coming Saturday, June 15th. For the first fight, we have Kadim Reyes from Prevail Combat Club versus Amir Reyes from War Orange Walk. And then we have Christopher Ortegon from Merida, Yucatan, Kukulkan Warriors. He's facing Eldrin Simon, who's coming off an impressive win. Eldrin is from Plasencia, and this is going to be his second fight. He's from Checkmate. We also have Wilbert Cantun, who's also from Kukulkan Warriors. He's a 125-pound division going against Hector, the famous Ramirez, who Hector just came off an impressive win at the last Profc in San Ignacio. And for the main fight of the prelims, we have the young prodigy, Johan Rodriguez from Don't Blink Jiu-Jitsu Academy. He's taking on the Yucatan under-16 champion, Isai Stickman Ayala, Professor. So that fight right there is going to be a very exciting fight. It's going to be Johan's toughest test to date. So I'm looking forward to that fight, Professor. What do you say?
Well, Johan's last match, I was really impressed with his last match at Profc. I was actually really impressed with his opponent from Kukulkan. That young guy, I can't remember his name. He was a lot shorter than
Salaya.
Johan, and he pushed Johan back. And but Johan came back in high energy, flying. That young Johan is. It's one thing I don't like in sport is when people compare athletes to athletes, because everybody is themselves, but it's unavoidable, right? Johan is the next coming up of Jalen Perez, right? He's young, he's explosive, he's talented, and he has that natural knack for fighting. Like, he's calm under pressure, and he responds. It doesn't seem to be any panic. So this is going to be a good test. And let's see if, when they're young, they can be unpredictable, right? You can panic. I can't see Johan panicking, but, let's see if he gets pushed here. It'd be nice to see. I know Johan has a very, very good ground game, which he hasn't put on display yet because he's been explosive standing. I would like to see Johan bring it to the ground to show off his grappling prowess.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a good fight, so I'm looking forward to it. Johan will definitely be tested, but Johan is also coming to test Isai as well, so it's going to be a back-and-forth fight. I expect it to be also, it's the reason why they have it as the main fight for the prelims. It's going to be an exciting fight that might go to 3 rounds or might finish early. We never know. And then for the first fight in the main card, we have Daniel Kokom, who is actually with us right now. Daniel Kokom is going to be facing Kevin Mendes from Warren Drog. Daniel is representing Prevail Combat Club from Belize City. And Daniel, how are you feeling this evening, sir?
I'm feeling great, man. Thanks for having me. Good afternoon, Professor Banpoco. Ian, what's up? Yeah, I'm excited for this event next month. Been preparing. I just came off one training camp, so I'm already in shape. Took minimal damage from my last fight, so haven't took no breaks. I've been in the gym, just pushing hard, being prepared for this next event.
Yeah, that's right. Daniel is coming off an impressive win in San Pedro. He finished his opponent by ground and pound in the first round, so Daniel's hot. He's ready to do another excellent performance, and he's fighting Kevin Mendes, who also is an experienced fighter, has 2 fights, 1-1, and they're actually fighting at a catch weight of 165 pounds. So this is Dan's first step at going to where he wants to reach. He's want to fight at the lightweight division, a 155-pound division. So now he's cutting down from 170 to 165 at a catch weight that Kevin agreed to. So it's going to be a good test for him to feel out the weight as he goes down. And Professor, what do you think about this fight?
All right, first of all, I really like both these guys. They have good personalities. They both have a lot of heart. I think there's going to be they can both be heavy-handed, right? They both plant their feet and can throw. Both can grapple. It was nice to see Dan get that win in his last match. I think he needed that. You know, every fighter could use that. It gives you a little confidence. And when a fighter feels that, you know, coming off a win, feels that feeling of a win, that's a high that they really crave in the next one. And I can't call this fight. I'm going to be announcing this fight, but I wouldn't be able to, say who I think is going to win this. This is going to be, I think it's going to come down to a mental battle. Which guy, when they get the fatigue on and the doubt starts setting in the mind, who wants to take it?
That's right. It's definitely going to be who wants it. And I know both guys are training. I know Dan's definitely training. How are you feeling, Dan? How's healthy? How are you feeling? Healthy? How's everything going? How's training camp going?
Training camp has been going well. A lot better than my last training camp leading up to the San Pedro. And the reason being is midway through my last training camp, I had got injured. Something outside the gym. I got a bike accident where I scraped up my knees and couldn't train for a few weeks. But so far this time, nothing, thankfully, has happened. So I've been consistently training. Didn't took no breaks since the last one. Not aiming just to maintain, but also to improve. Hence why I challenged myself from welterweight to 165 catch weight, giving myself that additional challenge. Know that I have to work extra harder to take off that extra weight. So I know that coming into the cage, it's not only that it's going to be a size thing that Mendes will have to deal with, but I believe that I should have the cardio advantage over him as well. So it should work in my favor, where I have the confidence that in my favor, that he is no doubt better than my last opponent. He will grapple. In fact, Mendes in many ways has a similar fighting style to mine, where he's looking to close the distance and take it to the ground. I believe I'm the superior person in that, but I do see it's going to be a grind. So I know that when it comes to the grit and cardio, that's where I've been putting a lot of my points in. And I think I have a head start due to just coming off of a fresh training camp.
All right, that's great. And if it's one thing I know for a fact that Kevin struggles with his cardio, he needs to work on his cardio. So if you're working your cardio, you're already doing the right thing by stepping up your game there to have a big advantage. You want to shout out anyone, Dan, your fans, your teammates, your sponsors? Go ahead.
Yeah, just all family and friends. So if you can come out to the Orange Walk event, I invite you guys to come in, see that. Shout out to my gym, Jamil Smith, Mario, Ralph, all these guys. Great coaches, my main training partners, Raheem Lambe, Kadim Reyes. These guys we've been working really hard, man. We're a good team. And Dominic, I expect great things from Dominic as well. That kid's, he's going to be a problem. Right now we have him doing jiu-jitsu, but expect him to do MMA in the near future. He's going to be a problem when he transitions to MMA.
For sure. And he has the build for that because he's long and stocky and can make probably 145, 155. So that's definitely going to be a problem. And then we have a few more MMA main card fights. We have, of course, we mentioned Jan Baki Gab versus David, the future champ Blanco. Then we also have Ismar, the last Dragon Vasquez versus Adriel Ook from Warren Drug. Ismar is from Dublin Jiu-Jitsu. And Professor, this is going to be another one of those high-level fights. It's for a belt this time. And Ismar dropped down to the 125-pound division.
Yeah, I think it's some tremors went through the 125-pound division when Ismar decided to drop down. He is going to be, like, I like how Dan just said, a problem, right? Use that as a Ismar is a serious problem for the 125-pound division. He is energetic. He's strong. He's technically proficient. He hits hard too. I've been punched by him. So Ismar hits hard too. So Adriel is sneaky. He's the kind of guy where when you're looking at Ismar, I can see Ismar controlling the stand-up, even getting the takedown. But Adriel is the type of grappler you have to be very, very, very careful with, because he can snatch he can make you snatch defeat from the jaws of victory very well with a quick submission. And we've seen in the past that Ismar is susceptible to that. It did happen to him in his first match against Iran. So this is the type of match where you have to be on your toes the entire match. And because it's 125, you better be on your toes and really paying attention, because it's going to move fast.
Lightning fast, that's right. Yeah, and then we have Jalen Perez as the co-main event versus Christian Centeno from Nicaragua, who's ranked number 1 in Central America, and Jalen is ranked number 12 in the entire Latin America. So Jalen asked for this fight. He wants the number 1 ranking contendership in the entire Latin American region. So beating Christian Centeno, he's going to move up to number 1, where he wants to retire, because he wants to retire from the amateur division. He wants to move on to professional, because actually on June 16th, the day after Profc 12, is Jalen's birthday. He's going to complete 18 years old, and he wants to go immediately to the pro. So that's what he wants, and so he got a fight that he asked it. He asked for the number 1 guy in the entire region, and he's getting it from Nicaragua, Christian Centeno. So it's going to be a very exciting fight, Professor.
Yeah, well, I always love seeing Jalen step in. And when I announce him, like I get excited calling his name out while I'm standing in the cage announcing him. This when I noticed that Jalen was ranked 12th, I was surprised. I was really surprised. I was expecting to see him at least in the top 3, and knowing Jalen, he's going to have a chip on his shoulder about that, because he's got something to prove. And when Jalen's got something to prove, he's a very dangerous man. And being so young, he's stepping into pro. I mean, that's a big step, because you can't step back, right? An amateur, you can afford mistakes. But, I mean, in my opinion, Jalen has a perfect amateur record. That draw was an odd call. He did win that match. He had to fight 8 rounds in order to take that title eventually, and he did. I think Christian better be preparing, because he's going to have his hands full with a mature, calm fighter who's not like Jalen's not going to he's not going to hang himself. He's not going to step in and make a mistake out of desperation. It's not his style. He's patient. He'll wait for his opportunity. He won't force anything. And he also has good cage timing, where he knows when it's time to score the takedown, when it's time to put pressure on the fence and slow it down to score points, because he knows how to play the judges. Even though with that bad draw, he won that match. He knows how to play the judges, and in a good way, and he also knows how to capitalize on his opponent's holds. He is as a coach, I've retired from professional MMA coaching, but let's say as a coach, he's the kind of guy who, when you coach against him, it's hard to find any holes, right? You have to prepare your fighter to be ready. This is going to be a war, and it's going to come down to one shot, right? If you can rock him, you better finish it, because if you don't, you're back in the fire.
Yeah, that's right. And what you two said, Jalen has very, very high fighter IQ. So I'm looking forward to this fight, and I'm very excited about the opportunity for Jalen to be number 1 in the entire Latin American region. And for the main event, we have Ari El Trompito Aguilar from Garage MMA, Merida, Yucatan, who's coming against the mighty, powerful Frank Mac Vasquez, who hits like a Mack truck. So they call him Mac 2-0. So that's going to be your main event fight. So again, if you're here in Orange Rock, or you're not in Orange Rock, make sure you're here in Orange Rock, Saturday, June 15th. At 7:30 p.m. sharp, we start Profc 12. We have 12 matches, 9 MMA matches, and 3 no-gi super fights. It's going to be a night of exciting action. The door opens at 6:30 p.m. Tickets are $25. General available at Shell One Stop on Monday morning. And VIP are by 670 to 0716 WhatsApp. WhatsApp 670-0716 to reserve your VIP tickets. It's going to be a night of exciting MMA action. If you've never been here before, tune in this Friday after the news for Profc 5. They're going to re-air Profc 5. Last week was Profc 4. Every week they're going to air one of those Profcs from the past, so you can get a feel of what and how exciting Profc is. So make sure you guys tune in, and make sure you go out to a Saturday at the Multipurpose Complex on June 15th at Profc 12. with that, I want to say thank you everyone for tuning in, and we're going to have another podcast very soon. And so make sure you keep up to date with CTV3, which we're updating you every week with new fights, with stuff on the news. Also, we're going to be on the morning show. A lot of promotion coming up for this Profc. So thank you to everyone out there, and thank you to Center Cable Network for having us. Good evening.